Jamis Dvartor, Parsha Yitro, Take 4, Action.
There's an old joke about 3 Jews walking into a bar, but that is completely irrelevant to this Parsha. In this Parsha, a joke about needing to change a judicial system for the better would be better. But let's be honest, joke and judicial system have nothing in common and shouldn't be mixed. This Parsha starts with Moshe's father-in-law, Yitro, learning about all God did for the Israelites and visiting Moshe at Mount Sinai. When Yitro arrives, he sees Moshe doing his job and being a judge for all the people. Yitro looks at this and quickly realizes that Moshe is exhausting himself with all the questions. Because of this, Yitro quickly suggests to Moses that he improve the judicial system. Yitro proceeds to tell Moshe what he can do in order to make a better system and tells him what people to pick out to be judges and how the court should be set up. Moshe really likes this and sets up the new system faster than a procrastinator works the night the project is due. After Moshe sets this up, Yitro leaves, and not before leaving his mark. And for that, God honors him by putting his name all over the Parsha. And in all of this, my question is, why did it take an external force to change the judicial system to something that actually worked well? And in response to that question, the commenter, or Hachaim, says this on the matter. I believe the reason for all of this is that God wanted to show the Jewish people already at the time, and for all future generations, that there are great and intelligent men to be found amongst the nations of the world. Yitro was an example of an enlightened Gentile who demonstrated this point beyond question. It is to teach us that if God chose the Jewish people as his people, this is not because they possess superior intellectual qualities. God chose the Jewish people as a reward for the loyalty the patriarchs had shown him and as an act of love towards these people. And in my opinion, I believe that the reason why it took an exterior force to change the judicial system was because Moshe was already getting worn out and was almost likely too exhausted to even think about it. Also, the people of Israel likely believed that if Moshe was judging their problems, then they would be more connected to him and by extension, God. Also, Moshe didn't think to do it because God didn't suggest it. And God likely didn't suggest this change as he isn't human and wouldn't realize how many small, insignificant things that the Israelites would have brought before Moshe. Due to this, God wouldn't have seen any reason to change the system. And while God lets us be independent, he also enacts a lot of control. And at this very moment, Moshe likely didn't want to do anything to anger God, and thus didn't even bother to think about changing the system, even when it was so inefficient and bad and actually hurting him. And in this Parsha, I believe it teaches us that we should always think of ways to change the system for the better and use logic and reason to see when something doesn't work or when something could and should be better. Shabbat Shalom!
Shabbat Shalom!